I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. Welcome to Heart of the Home. Today I'm going to show you how to use some of Virginia's finest pork products. And yes, we are going to incorporate it into some delicious ice cream. We've got some bacon strips laying on an aluminum foil sheet tray, and my oven has been preheated to 400 degrees. I'm going to take a little bit of brown sugar. You can use dark or light, it doesn't really matter. You just want to sprinkle a little brown sugar on each strip. It needs to be in the oven for about 15 minutes or so total, but we're going to flip the bacon about halfway through that cooking time. All right, so we're going to pop this in a 400-degree oven for about 8 minutes, then we're going to flip them, and then they'll cook another 8 minutes. It's actually dark mainly because of the sugar. We're going to put the bacon off of the hot tray onto a rack to let it cool. It's also going to be crispier when you let it cook like this and get it a little bit more done, which is what you're looking for this recipe. We have a small saucepan. We have our burner on just basically a warm. We're going to start out with a tablespoon and a half of butter. Now your recipe calls for adding salted butter. As a chef, most of us, if not all of us, do not use salted butter. So to that butter, I'm actually going to add just a small sprinkle of a smoked bacon sea salt. Just a little bit, not very much. The enhancement there being that it was smoked with bacon, and we're going to put bacon in the ice cream, and then it adds the salt nature that the recipe calls for. To the custard, or to the butter mixture I should say, excuse me, we're going to actually add 6 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. And we're going to go ahead and add half of the required amount of half and half. It's going to start thickening, but it's going to thicken even further when we add our egg yolks. Virginia is home to about 375 dairy farms. They are constantly working to give us some nice product. We definitely want to make sure we support them. A little warm. You don't want it to be too warm because we're getting ready to incorporate the egg yolks. We've got egg yolks waiting on the side here. We're going to whisk those up. Now we're going to temper. Temper means bring the temperature of one thing up to the temperature of the other. So cold egg yolks and a hot cream is going to curdle the eggs. So you actually want to just pour a little bit into the egg yolks. Let that go back on your burner. Whisk up the egg yolks with a little bit of that cream mixture. And you want to go back into the pot with it, and then you have no danger of scrambling your egg. Whisk that up very well together. Now with this on a low here, it's going to start to really thicken up more, which is what we want. So while that is thickening, we're actually going to go ahead and add a little bit more cream to a measure. What's going to happen is we're going to add the egg mixture and the sugar to the remaining cream, and then we're going to add a little bit of vanilla extract and a secret ingredient we'll call. So at this point I'm going to turn my heat off. I want to use a fine mesh strainer here. Now, why in the world would I use a strainer? I love to tell people this. If you ever have a recipe that calls for straining, it's actually a very important step, or that calls for straining with eggs. You know, when you crack an egg or you separate an egg, you always have those little bits and pieces. You want to strain your mixtures to not have that in your final product. So we're going to pour it into the measure with the heavy cream on the half and half, excuse me, on the bottom there. And what's also happening at this point, in addition to straining, is we are actually cooling the mixture with that cold cream on the bottom there. And what's going to happen, you're about to see what I was talking about, the importance of straining, is what is left inside this strainer are those little cooked bits of egg that we don't want in our mixture. And now what we want is we want to whisk up the extra half and half and the egg and sugar mixture and the butter. And now we want to add about a half a teaspoon or so of vanilla extract. And you might have remember I said something about a secret ingredient. Well, Virginia is home also to some delicious liquors, and we have some Virginia rum here that we're going to add to our recipe. So now what you want to do is you want to chill this mixture, and then when it's ready and nice and chilled, we're going to come back and run it through a ice cream maker. So here we have our bacon. I had started chopping it. We're going to finish chopping it into bits and pieces here. We have our chilled ice cream based mixture, and we're going to put the bacon into it and stir it up. We have this wonderful little Cuisinart ice cream maker here that we're going to use. The bowl itself does need to be kept in the freezer. We're going to turn that on as soon as we plug it in. We're going to stir in those bacon bits. And now we're going to pour it into the frozen ice cream bowl and let this ice cream maker do its trick, do its thing. And the churning is going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to turn that off. I'm going to check our thickness of it. At this point, it could be more of a soft serve, which is totally fine. It's actually very edible. I've already tasted it. But you could always let it thicken longer if you wanted the ice cream maker to go longer. And once you put it into a sealed container back into the freezer, tomorrow it will be perfectly firm. But we're going to go ahead, mainly because we're anxious to taste this, we're going to go ahead and put some in a cup there with an ice cream scoop. All right, and there you have it, candied bacon ice cream, another way to enjoy delicious Virginia pork. I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. We hope you'll join us again on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.